Hey guys, hope you're well. Pull up a chair. I really don't go out anymore. And the reason for that is actually pretty simple. I just don't like it. And it's especially true now. With all the things going on, it's like you have to agree with everybody in the group that you're choosing to go out with. Like you have to agree with their ideology or something. And it's a lot of pressure. And honestly, when it comes to what other people think about me not going out anymore, I really just don't care what they think. And I think back, and I remember I used to work at a place where everybody would go out and eat and they would socialize every week. And it was like a solid hour or more of talking about things I wasn't interested in, of people joining up in their group and taking sides. It was me trying to fake laugh at bad jokes. It was people pressing in all around me. If I said one wrong thing, it's like everybody would reject me or something. And it was so nerve-wracking. And it was just exhausting. And honestly, I felt dread. And, I'm just going to say it. I felt a form of terror as the days that those get-togethers were on got closer and closer. And I kind of still remember the horror of it. And what I found out is a lot of people today, especially, they don't want your company. It's almost like they want your agreement with everything that they're doing. And people today want to try to force you into doing exactly the same thing that they're doing. They want you to eat what they're eating. They want you to be interested in what they're interested in. And they even want you to believe what they believe. And in fact, like I said, a lot of times they are demanding that you do that. And if you don't go along with what they're saying, things get uncomfortable real fast. And they'll actually start to belittle you or to insult you or to pick on you in a way for being different or even just for having a different opinion. And I remember the day at that job, I remember the day when I told them at work, I was like, no, I'm not going to these social things anymore. It's nothing personal, but I'm just not going. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. And it was so freeing when I did that. And it was like a giant pack really had been lifted off my back, a pack full of people. And they were acting like a pack too, because they would gang up on you if you didn't believe what they believed or you had a different opinion. And I was kind when I told them I wasn't going anymore, but I also had to stand up for my own mental health. And this video is not about the fact that I never leave the house or anything like that, because I do. If I want to go get some coffee somewhere, maybe somewhere quiet, or if I want to go on a walk, or if I want to take a drive alone, then that's different. And I'll even go to a gathering if it's like a super important event. But what I'm talking about is going out to these things that are pressure-filled, that especially in this modern age are just somewhere I do not want to be, because right now it seems like everything's coming in and kind of hitting the fan right now. And I'll tell you, I don't want to be in a group of people who are going to start, seeing if I'm one of them or whatever. And I'm not into that. And so if I'm going to be uncomfortable at an event or at something, if there's something that I don't see any reason that I need to be there or any reason to go, then the way I see it is this is my free time. I should be able to spend my free time how I want to spend it. And so I've made a conscious decision to avoid, at least when I have the option to avoid, I make it a point not to go to those places that I don't like, the places that don't make me feel good, and the places where there might be some kind of conflict, really. And it wasn't always like this, because I used to kind of force myself to go to these things that society said You should be doing this. Everybody wants you to be going to this thing. And I was afraid of what people would think of me. I felt like I had to go to those things. But I let go of that pressure. So one thing I noticed and that made me snap out of this was when I did go to some kind of party or something, I'd be thinking, man, this is terrible. I mean, I'm nervous. I don't like these people, or at least I don't have anything in common with these people. And I cannot wait to get home. And I finally figured out, oh, okay. So I don't like doing these social things. And I'm wanting this thing to be over the whole time that I'm here. And in fact, I'm just dying to be at home the whole time that I'm here. So I thought, okay, so why couldn't I just cut out the middleman, so to speak, and avoid all of this pain by just staying at home in the first place? And I know that sounds kind of weird, kind of like, duh, but it was some kind of epiphany to me, really. It was like I'd found some kind of cheat code. I was like, that's it. That is it. I have unlocked the matrix. It really reminds me of this story a long time ago when I was dating this girl, and we went to a few theme parks, and she was always on me about being afraid to ride the rides, but I knew that I could ride the rides, but that they made me feel terrible. And I kept saying, I've been on these things before. I just don't like them. And finally, we ended up going to Kings Island, and we know what kind of rides they have at Kings Island. I mean, they're pretty intense. And that day, she just wouldn't leave me alone. So I said, fine, I'll ride a few of these rides. And I remember I rode the Racer, and then I rode one called, I think it was called Vortex. And it was horrible. And I hated it every bit as much as I thought I was going to hate it. And I was tensed up so bad on it the whole time that I actually ended up pulling a muscle in my hip. And after that one, I said, see, I can ride these things, but I hate them. And now I have to limp around all day. And I remember that she left me alone after that. And that's kind of the same way that I feel about social engagements now. I've been to plenty of them. I get what they are. I get what they're all about. But generally, I just do not like them. And so it's not that I can't go. It's not even really that I'm scared to go, even though, I do get nervous sometimes. But it's really that I've been there, I've done that, I've got the t-shirt, and I don't like going out and doing those things. Period. And I think the thing to remember is that as introverts, we have basic needs and we have basic preferences. And those basic needs and preferences are really, they're just as important and just as valuable as anybody else's. And just because we're not the loudest person or the most extroverted person doesn't mean that we have to go along with all of these louder personality types all the time. I mean, after all, I think about this. I respect extroverts' preferences. Never in my life have I tried to get an extrovert to stay at home. Never have I said, you shouldn't get out so much or anything like that. I would never even think of doing anything like that. But as that old saying goes, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. So in turn, since I don't do that to extroverts, these more extroverted people shouldn't be allowed to try and force me as an introvert to do things that I don't prefer doing. And I stand by that now. And really, good luck trying to get me to go out to some social event or something that I have no interest in going to. And really, when I think about that, I think fair is fair. That's even. And since I have decided this to be less social, I wouldn't say I'm antisocial or anything. I would just say that I'm a lot more picky. And since I've done that, my life is much, I'll say it again, much more peaceful. Because now I know that my preferences, my desires, the things I like as an introvert, I would even call them rights. My rights as an introvert are just as important as anybody else's. But that's what was on my mind today. We're in a perilous time. We have to protect our mind. We have to protect our well-being right now as introverts as we go through this time. And I hope this video helped you in some way. I appreciate y'all, and I thank you for pulling up a chair with me today. And if you are at the point where you're starting to care a little bit less about what people think of you, I made a video called I Stopped Caring What People Think that I think you'll relate to. And you can find that video right here.